This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where two reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Pre-Fixe, your weekly pop culture roundup.
Listeners, hope you had a happy 4th of July.
Goodbye.
Christopher and I are both in Provincetown, known colloquially as Provincetown. We're in the same house on different floors. This only happens once a year.
Once a year. Just like when all the planets align in Men in Black. Remember that?
Yep. Or like Schmigadoon, but not every 100 years. Just the one. That's it. But here we are. There is... I don't even know where to begin. As you know, we record the Pre-Fixe on Tuesdays. And in the past hour, two stories have broken that have knocked and re-knocked our clits off. They are rolled into the bay or whatever the body of water is that surrounds Provincetown.
The sound, yeah.
I'm going to begin the Cape. Yes. I don't know where to begin. I thought about this on my walk home from the barber. I'm going to begin with my girl first, because
you should.
But these are equally important.
People
stories.
are asking for it. People want you to talk about this. So
yes. And by the way, listeners, I will always appreciate you DMing Chris and I when a story has broken. But I assure you that I have boots on the ground in any organization that has to do with this next person. So the Hollywood Reporter finds out this information from Fixing Famous People. When I tell you that the host of the 2026 Emmy Awards will be none other than saint of this podcast and our world, Mariska Magdalena Hargitay.
Wow.
That's for you, Television Academy. Never before. If Mariska needed to be fixed, which she certainly doesn't, this would be the thing to do. This is going to fix the Emmy Awards, actually.
Dominic.
It's going to put respect on their name.
Listeners, I was on the toilet while I heard Dominic find out this news. And when I eventually came out, I said, there is a God.
I can't believe it. What a great choice. Everything this woman touches.
Choice.
Always, but in 2026, whether it's the Knicks, Broadway, the Emmys, she's a success machine.
And here's what I'll say, Dominic, is that we don't because of the documentary, My Mom Jane, we then got to see her as herself. And we don't often get to see her as herself. I'm sorry to tell you. And so it's and then within her being there for the Knicks and the pictures of her and she's freaking out, being able to see her at risk and not as Olivia Benson is so refreshing. Sure. And it really has helped. Does that make sense?
It does. And I will say that the times when we get to see her not being Olivia Benson, there is half of me that thinks to myself, she is Olivia Benson, I think. There's not a thin boundary there. I love her. What a great choice. I mean, she's beloved. She's just one of those people. I'm sure there are people that don't like her, but there's something wrong with those fucking people.
It's also funny because I feel in the last 2 or 3 years, she's really she called her publicist and was hi, time to finally earn a paycheck. Instead
it's
of
time
me
for me to earn, right? It's time for me to earn the stature I deserve. Truly, get on it.
But you know what I mean? Of being hey, press person, you actually have to lift your finger for once in your life now because I've been on this show for 9 million years and now I actually want to do something else. And that person was shaking in their little boots and was okay, I guess I have 20 years of owing you for just raking in money for no reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can't be fired by the most bankable star in Hollywood. I need to make sure I'm upping her profile. This is great. She literally just days ago wrapped her successful run on Broadway in Every Brilliant Thing. And now this. And then she goes to her friend's wedding, which of course we're going to discuss. Calm down. We refuse to lead with
must
it.
Must
I mean,
we?
we're obligated. We're kind of obligated.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
She goes to her friend's wedding. She helps the Knicks win. She goes to her friend's wedding. And then I did not see this coming. It is a true stroke of genius. And then as if that wasn't enough, moments before we roll on this podcast, we get word that the script is being written for the Britney Spears biopic,
Goosebumps.
The Woman in Me.
I have goosebumps.
Listeners, I can tell you as the only person looking at Chris right now, I can tell you that the hair on his forearm is at full erection. I'm telling you, this is,
I mean,
what a day this day is. What a day.
Huge.
Can we just do a courtesy Britney watch since I jumped right into that without the opening theme? Go ahead.
Britney watch.
Oh, bye-bye. Hi, great. This is great.
Great. Love it. And I had forgotten that the director of said biopic is the one and only John M. Chu of Wicked fame.
Oh.
Maybe you've heard of it. Like, he's gonna fuck this shit up, like, in the best way. I just know it.
This is going to be great.
God,
you know why? Because I feel like John Chu is she's going to give Britney the respect that she deserves.
100%.
But I do believe at this moment in time, on what day are we coming out here? July 8th, 2026, I will say that I believe John Chu is not going to shy away from the shitty stuff. I think he's going to give
her driving with the baby on the lap.
I think he's going to be in on it with her. I think he's going to convince her that telling the truth is the only way to actually do this. And she told the truth in the book, Woman and Me. So it's not, I don't think she would shy away from it either, but
no. But I feel safe in his hands. That's what I feel safe in his hands versus someone else that they could have picked that I'd be like, oh, brother. And now here we go with this one, and like, here comes Emerald Fennell to like be weird about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like and I like her stuff. I really do.
That would have been an interesting choice, actually. But
she has too much of like a brand of what her films are like. And he doesn't in the way that like he can do something this big and just like do it.
It's a day of perfect choices.
Yeah, it really is.
Perfect choices have been made.
And the writer is the woman that wrote, I believe, the scripted series Dying for Sex, which is based off of like a very popular, like famous podcast about this woman that found out she was terminally ill and then was like, I'm going to go fuck before I die. And like, it was great. And like, I remember bawling my eyes out to it. It was so good. Like, and the friend narrates it about her friend that has passed already. And is like giving the story of like all of her and like her cancer journey. It was an incredible podcast. And so like, I feel good about that.
There are two other things. There are two other perfect choices that you, the listener, can make this week and next week that will only better your life. The first is, and I know everyone thinks I'm going to, as usual, incessantly talk about
your
my own live appearances. I don't know. Some of you may know that I do stand-up comedy. I rarely talk about it, but there's another artist in residence here in Provincetown, actually, who will be doing his own show. It is none other than Christopher's partner, Hassan Khan, who is an artist who has a show coming up. Christopher, will you give us the details about Hassan's art opening on July 14th?
It is.
And by the way, this is sort of hilarious because when I tell you that Hassan and I are seated at the same table, he is truly on the other side of my microphone with his easel set up. I should take a photo of it because it feels like we live in an artist commune when we're here because that is sort of what Provincetown is at its core.
Hassan is going to be doing...
Hassan. That's what you wanted, everybody. Here's the podcast set up. And there's Hassan right there doing his art. And I will post this on the Instagram stories when we are done. So yes, please tell us about Hassan's show.
Hassan's show, 15 Faces, is going to be going on at the Jadeite Gallery, which is 660 10th Avenue in New York. And we're going to be doing an opening reception on July 14th from 4 to 7 p.m. And then a closing reception on July 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. So next week, if you're in town, please come by and see his art. You may even see a painting of someone that co-hosts this podcast.
That's right. It is rumored that one of the 15 faces mentioned in the title of said show is that of Christopher Michael DeRosa himself.
Possible. Who's to say until you come and see for yourself? And we're obviously so proud of him, and I can't wait to see it and see all of you there.
We are so proud of him. I did mention another show, which if you're listening to this podcast on the day it drops, this coincidentally, July 8th is the first night that I will be performing my residency at Red Room in Provincetown, July 8th and 9th, and then 2 dates next week and 2 dates the week after that, hopefully some more in the future. We did a little rehearsal today. The space is great. There are a couple of fun surprises in the show, and I've never performed in Provincetown before, and it is a place that I love dearly, and I'm super excited. Plus, we've just been having a lovely time when we're up here. Lots of friends of the podcast are here. Jess Rothschild, who you all know from our podcast. And that's everything personal. She's been popping in and out of our home and our hearts.
Another, Dominic, sorry to stop you. Another perfect decision that we made. Is that what you said? Like a perfect decision?
It's a day of perfect choices. It's
Another perfect choice that we had the other night was when we went to Ross's Grill, where we had a beautiful dinner of many appetizers, many drinks, a beautiful martini by me.
It is our annual first night in P-Town dinner is always at a great restaurant called Ross's Grill up here.
And during that meal, when we got, the dessert menu, I saw that they have, what do they have, Dominic, on the menu?
Some sort of abortion called a tiramisu martini.
And I made us get one. It was basically just like a bad version of a espresso martini is what it was. That's what it was. And I made us all drink it, and every single person there, Hassan, Dominic, and Jess, other than me, complained the whole time when we were drinking it. And they said, why are we even drinking this?
It was a great example of, first of all, I've never had anything at Ross's Grill in the years I've been coming here that I haven't loved.
Oh, the food the food is incredible. Yeah.
Didn't taste like tiramisu. That was the issue.
No.
If this arrived at the table and you told me that it was an espresso martini with half and half, I would have sipped it and said, amazing. I'm not normally an espresso martini drinker, but it would have been delicious if it had been named the right thing. But because the specter of the evil of tiramisu was hanging over this cocktail, I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy it. Even if administered anally, I don't think I would have enjoyed it. And let's face it, I'll like anything better that way.
And Period.AO, as you said. Dominic and I have PS. You guys are going to be like, these two idiots, shut the fuck up. We have come up with the dumbest, stupidest tagline, like stupid things we're going to say on this show from now on that make absolutely no sense. Like period.AO.
We're taking you on this endless journey of stupidity with us.
Yes.
It's terrible.
But as we, let us not besmirch the name of Ross's Grill, though, because I tell you,
you should all come here. You should all go there.
The food is great. The carpaccio, incredible. They have escargot that's in this, they have puff pastry over the top of it, and you have to pull it apart and have the thing. It's incredible. Dominic has probably never seen me do this before, but I actually when we were drinking our tequila sodas with lime before we went to dinner, I was like, I actually need to stop drinking because I know I'm going to have one, maybe two martinis at Ross's because they're so good.
Yeah.
So
I I took his temperature. I thought he was ill when he ceased drinking. Here.
Yeah, I was really I need to not drink more. And I saw Dominic both looked at me like I had 17 heads. Their martini, very few places I've had a better one. Just a dirty martini with blue cheese olives.
You know what makes martinis taste better before you even put your lips to glass? When a restaurant has goblet-sized martini glasses,
the big, huge
you
ones.
Are automatically, when you come over with that rounded bullshit and try to convince me it's a fancier version, I'm like, this is a champagne glass. Take it back and put it in a beer glass. I would rather drink a half-full beer glass of martini material than one of those
the little
liqueur moment. It just means you're cheap, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and P.S. that's like New York. If you're not at a steakhouse in New York anymore, you always get it. And at many places, you get in that little glass. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Give me a martini glass.
Anyway. We won't get too deep into it, but my rejection of tiramisu 2 weeks ago and truly set the listenership on fire of this podcast. We got more engagement about that than we have about Britney Spears in Spears in 3 or 4 years. But as I was looking at the menu, I had a revelation, and I looked up at my dinner companions and I said, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I also have to announce to this table, I don't like duck. It's just every time I order it, it's a disaster. Duck for me is the protein version of tiramisu. I don't want it. And I've ordered it dozens of times and eaten through it. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's not. But all the time I'm holding those little baby bones and I'm like, I don't like duck. So I'm putting it out there.
Baby bones. When are you doing that?
But it's the thing. A l'orange, any kind. I don't want your duck recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like when you eat chicken or a larger animal. I like to hang on to that bone. I'm the opposite of whatever a vegan might be. And duck is the new tiramisu. Duck is the non-dessert tiramisu.
Listeners know that in the email Dominic sends me every week for the Pre-Fixe, it says Pre-Fixe, and then right below that, is duck the new tiramisu?
Diane Sawyer investigates.
Fucking shoulders herself.
Rip off those shoulders and let's do a taste test, bitch.
And guys, do know that there is a Patreon episode forthcoming where we make shoulders list, like we joked about the other week, where we say all the people that we want Diane Sawyer to like eviscerate in an interview.
Mostly because when Diane Sawyer interviews people, she ends up either ruining their lives or indirectly murdering them. So because she is such a curse, we decided to put together a list of people that we want her to do.
She needs to use her powers for good is what she needs to do. And we have a really good list of people coming. Yeah. Anywho.
All right, let's get to it.
But wait,
I mean,
wait.
What?
But you don't never have done like duck fried rice. Have you ever had that?
You know, I have had duck fried rice and sure. Because the duck's not the star.
Or like
you could put anything in fried.
Duck.
You could have shit fried rice and it would be absolutely delicious.
Yeah. But like Peking duck,
not into it.
You don't like it?
No.
Interesting. I love when I see it, I'm always like interested. Not duck à l'orange really, because I feel that's a very holiday dish. But like when it's being used in a way that a chicken would be used, I'm very interested. So that's very fun. Very different, you and I, like we say.
Yeah. Trigger warnings for vegetarians and vegans. I'm about to make you gag a little bit. But when I tell you that I prefer both frog and rabbit to duck, I do not exaggerate. I truly do. Those are baby bone things too, but I don't know why.
Frog, no.
Just the promise of duck has never been fulfilled to me. That's all.
I don't feel that this will be as incendiary as tiramisu, though, sadly.
No one gives a fuck about duck.
Which has caused a civil war. Like people like many, Dame Aaron said, must side with Dom, like hate tiramisu, like many people weighing in, coming to me to tell me that I'm wrong, that they also hate it with you. Like
people have written me and said, please don't say my name, but I feel seen by your claims and your opinions. And I feel like I'm afraid to mention this to my Italian grandmother and all this nonsense. I'm like, we need to escape from this tiramisu prison. It's it's wet cake.
Anyway,
if you're going to wet my cake, you got to be tres leches. You got to, that's the wet cake I'm into.
God.
When I tell you that we've spent more time on duck than we want to spend on this next story, I'm going to buzz through the headlines as quickly as possible because to be quite honest with you, I've had enough of it. I'm so happy about the Taylor Swift Kelsey Grammar wedding because it's over. I'm still having to hear about it every 10 minutes. I don't even know how to react to all of the nonsense surrounding it. Adam Sandler officiating, that was a mic drop, obviously, a pearl clutch. Where that came from?
I mean, I know where it came from. Him being like, if she's like, literally any person alive will do this. Like, I'm Taylor Swift. Who do you want to do it? And of course, he's like, Adam Sandler as Bobby Boucher in The Waterboy. Like, that he was like, I need Billy Madison to like come up there and be like, Chalamet. When he does that.
Well, that's the tea because he was in Happy, Travis Kelsey, what I understand is his real name, is Kelsey Grammer's real name, was in, maybe cameoed in Happy Madison too. So he
Happy
knows
Gilmore too.
Happy Madison?
Happy Madison is his production company because it's
and
Billy
Happy
Madison
Gilmore
and
is
Happy
the name.
Gilmore.
Billy, thank you. What's the one where Kathy Bates is the mother and it's my favorite? That's The Waterboy.
That's The Waterboy.
That's I think where I fell in love with Kathy
Bates. That's the devil's sport. That might need to go on next year's movie list.
When they're eating dinner, I think I've said this on the pod before, when they're eating dinner with Henry Winkler and they're eating a python for dinner and they're cutting into it and Henry Winkler goes, what part of the snake is that? And Kathy Doyle Bates goes, oh, that would be the knee. And my clit fell off. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
God, what a movie.
So it's Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and Happy Madison's the production company.
Yes.
Anyway, Travis Kelsey Grammar was in one of those movies and
but he was like he probably did it in character.
It's a straight guy's dream to have Adam Sandler officiate your wedding,
1 million%.
So that was the part that Travis got to do that part of the wedding. Taylor got to rent out Madison Square Garden and build a secret garden in there on a holiday weekend, even though most likely they'd been married privately for some time before.
Or they'll never on paper actually be married, which they shouldn't be.
Pulling a curtain, Goldie.
She should be like, if we could ever get our hands on the prenup. Can you imagine?
I wouldn't even know, like, where do you, if you're an attorney, obviously you're getting a cut of two multi-million dollar people. You want that job. I'd almost be too intimidated. That would be like, it's like Jeff Bezos marrying Oprah Winfrey. What would that prenup look like? Like, it's so many billions of dollars in assets. Jesus.
Do you think she's just, I mean, it's probably just like, if she's annoyed with you, like you're done for. Like you owe her every dollar that you've ever gotten in your life.
Here's what I know before we get into these other facts about this wedding. Not since I thought that the Kardashians were American royalty. This supersedes that.
Yeah, it does.
Tenfold to me.
And that's hard to do.
For them, yeah. And I don't think I even realized how worshipped this couple was going to be. First, getting married at Madison Square Garden, we mocked it 3 months ago. You have my respect a little bit because it's like the most ridiculously bold move. It's like a Donald Trump level, let's see how crazy I can make this moment. And they did that. So when she gets pregnant, if this child isn't born in a manger outside in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, why bother? Do you understand that their baby will be the Christ child of the United States? Their baby's going to turn USA into its own separate religion. It's going to be absolutely bonkers.
Away in a manger, no crib for his bed. The little Lord Kelsey lay down his sweet. So
Paul McCartney and Stevie Nicks sing at your wedding. What do you do? Paul McCartney sang "I Want to Hold Your Hand." I don't know what Stevie sang.
Okay.
Go.
This is what's so... Okay. Everyone just let me do this.
Is this going to be controversial or brave?
Both. Everyone just let me do this. And I know that I'm a hater and I know that she's the best and I'm the worst and I should kill myself and blah, blah, and everyone's great and she's incredible and I'm a jealous loser. Yes. Now that that's out of the way. This is so her. To be like, I'm going to pull so much. Like, I want everyone in the world to be so talking about me. And I'm going to have this procession of celebrities come through. And then you get to see none of it.
Oh, but are we going to get to see none of it? Because
no, we will.
We
will.
There's a full documentary coming. And it smells like something that would probably air on Amazon Prime Video.
Yes.
That's for a billion reasons that we don't even need to talk about. But I'm guessing that's where it's going to be.
And it's just so her. Do you know what I mean? To just be like, and every single person's going to be there. And I'm going to have it in a stadium. And it's going to be the most famous venue in the world. Like, and everyone in the world is going to be there watching like Oprah come out of a black car to like go into see Paul McCartney like almost like dying in the back of that car. Did you see the picture where it's just like his eyeball?
Oprah wasn't there, by the way. And also, not only was Oprah not there, on our Patreon today, listeners, this week's a la carte on Patreon and for Apple subscribers, we're going to go down the guest list of who was there and who we were most surprised about, because I am fascinated by what celebrities are friends with other celebrities. Even last week when we watched the Martin Short documentary, all these old home movies with the aforementioned Kurt and Goldie showing up at Martin Short's lake house. I'm like, how are they friends? How are they this close of friends and we never knew? I'm sort of fascinated with who was invited and who wasn't invited as well. And we'll definitely be going down that list in a fun way. Yeah. Chris doesn't hate all the people that were invited, I assure you. There will be...
It's just...
Well, no, we don't hate Paul Rudd. We wonder why he was there, but we certainly don't hate him.
I'm just saying, it's just like, of course this is what they did.
There were raffles for the wedding guests. Of course, like the cheapest thing raffled off was a Cartier watch, probably worth more than the house we're staying in.
Yeah, anything we'll ever make. And more money than we'll combined ever make in our lives.
We'll find out. I'm sure we'll see pictures soon, but the bride and groom both wore Dior, which I'm sure Dior is thrilled about. Travis cried during the vows, apparently.
And they were like 40-minute vows. Well, we're just doing it now. We should save this, right? We should just save this for the...
No, I'm just giving the fact. I don't even want to discuss it. I'm just giving the facts as we know them and then moving on. But you all know Lena Dunham gave a toast and at one point described football as straight men acting out gay porn, which is a hilarious joke. But apparently some people were clutching pearls at the wedding about it.
Of course they were.
I'm like, why? How? And that was that. I mean, there are so many facts about this wedding. It's really going to go down in history as when Charles and Diana got married.
No, you're so right, though. It is going to be a documentary, isn't it? They probably filmed the whole thing.
Yes, for sure. Speaking of Charles and Diana, what a God-given segue this is. Yeah. Our boy Prince Harry is in the UK now for his Invictus Games conference and some other ginger business, I'm assuming. But the amount of stories generated about this trip in the past week, like right after we stopped recording this podcast last week, King Charles apparently had called a family dinner and at one point extended Buckingham Palace to Harry, Meghan, and the kids to stay when they're in the UK. And then, again, one of these stories that we'll maybe never know how it all went down. Harry accepted the invitation to stay at Buckingham Palace, and then the palace rescinded the invitation. Ended up Meghan, the Duchess of Schmuckers, and the heirs, Archie and Lilibet, not in the UK. Harry is there solo. I mean, this was to be like the moment that the family got back together.
Yeah.
And the palace would not cover all the security that was needed for Meghan and the kids and Harry. And so Harry is now there solo. These two kids have no memory of being in the same room with their grandfather yet in their young lives because they haven't been there in a million years. I think the only person happy about all this is Kate Middleton, who's probably like, fuck those bitches. Let me get on. I'm running this shit now. And they move on. Every time he's only been there at this point for like 48 hours. Every time he appears in public, the press is screaming at him. Where's Meghan? Are you mad? Are you going to see your father? And they're playing close to the vest. I even tried to find out before where he was staying, but no one's revealing where he's staying because of security reasons. So one can only assume that he's at a Hampton Inn somewhere on the outskirts of London, right? In like a in a queen bed, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, here's
they have a good breakfast. Everyone knows the Hampton does a great breakfast in the lobby. So why not?
They need to make a quota for the Daily Mail is what they need to do. They need an article quota for the Daily Mail. So they had to do all this back and forth with them acting like the kids and her were going to go so that they could write about it. And then there's not enough money for the security. And then it's not going to blah, blah, blah. And then this and that. And then here's this reason and blah, blah. Like they just need all this back and forth volleying to then be able to write 16 articles. And then they got 16 articles and then they were like, all right, we're good. Now he's just going to stay somewhere else. Never mind. Actually, none of this is real. That's what I think this is now. Because none of it makes any sense. The other week you told me that Prince William's a billionaire, but they don't have enough money to get security in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. He's richer than the king. William's richer than the king.
But like, how much more security? And this isn't a slam on Meghan and Harry. It's just a slam on like, how much more could you possibly need? You live in a palace that's gated that no person can come in. And it's like, there's like snipers on the roof ready to like kill anyone that comes in within like 100 feet of the actual palace. Like, what more security could there possibly be that they don't have?
Mm-hmm. By the way, do you know what I love watching on TikTok? Is videos of people not at Buckingham Palace because no one can get close enough to it, but people at the other government buildings and palaces in London where people get too close to the horses.
And they bite them.
They bite them. And the guys, I don't know if there are any women on those horses. I can't remember, but at least the men and women who are on the horses screaming at the people to move away from the horses, like terrifying them. And people come up and grab. And by the way, the people who do this are fucking morons, I might add. You don't go up to any animal ever without asking permission of the person who's commandeering the animal and touch it or touch its reins. And people go up and pose and they grab. Why would anyone grab a horse's reins? Like, people are really fucking dumb.
Ever.
And they grab the horse's reins. The horse either goes ballistic and bites them, or the moment they put their hands on the reins, the people on the horses scream, "Get away from the horse!" Like, so loud and terrifying.
And then the horse literally bites someone in the face. Like, they bite their faces off. It's like bad.
And you know when people are wrong and they know they're wrong, but they're so embarrassed about being wrong that they just have to keep being wrong and pretending that they're not? The people who are entitled to look at these people like, you don't have to yell. You don't have to, why didn't you warn me? And all this shit. It's like, Sheila, you touched an animal. Why? You touched an animal that's taller than you.
Also,
you're the fucking moron here.
And you're not at a petting zoo. There's a guard on top of this animal that is guarding the entrance to wherever you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is like a working animal. It's not like you're not at a petting zoo.
This horse is at work. Does this horse come bother you at your job, Sheila? Does he? Does he go to the insurance company where I'm sure you're a hit in the break room? Does he go in there and grab your ass? No. Back away from the horse, Sheila.
I fell down a rabbit hole of watching those videos and they were great.
They're so satisfying to see the people fall when the horse, like, because all the horse has to do is swing its 50-pound head at someone and they're
knocked over. Yeah.
Yeah. That horse shakes his head. No, you're done for. Falling down, looking at the person on the horse, like, how could you let the horse do that? Well, what would you do if I grabbed your face?
Yeah.
Whew,
anyway.
It's a real tangent. I hate those people more than tiramisu. And we are back. So the other giant story this week. Can you imagine a wedding so big that something was bigger than the release of Madonna's Confession 2?
Mm-hmm.
But it came out.
Hey, And P.S., I'm not above thinking that she'd put it on this thing because she knew Madonna's album was coming out.
Interesting.
She's done it before and she'll do it again.
They did happen on the same day. Confessions came out at midnight, and that was the day of the wedding on July 3rd. We will do a deeper dive about this album on the a la carte today, available to our Patreon and Apple subscribers. In short, it's wonderful.
To quote you, it's a clip popper.
It is. It pops every clip within 100-mile radius of you listening to it. And
you've said, like, you're like, she should just retire now. You're like, she should just.
I know she won't, but if she said, this is all I'm giving you, this is all I've got, I am on the floor worshiping, genuflecting like it's, because the album is it's so retrospective of her and introspective, a great duo of her career. Like so many it's so New York too. It's so, there's so much in there about her early years in New York, up to and including one of the best tracks on the album called Danceteria, which is a club where she got her start here, where she first performed. I guess it would be Burning Up. And it's just really good. It's just a good time. It's all peak with very little valley. And it sort of leaves you with one single tear going down your face. And literally the last line of the album is nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
So what are you telling us? Are you leaving? It's okay if you want to go.
Hasn't she done it? Hasn't she done enough?
I don't know. She's always got more in her, though.
They never do. As we've seen so many people in oxygen tanks, they never do. Right?
Are you shading both Lionel Richie and Rodney Louise Stewart on this podcast?
Yeah.
One quick thing we will say here on Maine is that there's a song on there called Bizarre, which is a great song. And people are thinking that at long last, she is throwing shade at her ex-husband, Sean Penn. A reminder for people who are Chris's age and younger that Madonna was married to Sean Penn for 3 years in the 80s, which must seem so strange to anyone who's not above the age of 45.
Yes.
Like, these two people, it must seem crazy that they were a couple.
But also, too, it's like, even when I was like a teenager, like the last thing that we really were like, Sean Penn's great, was like when he was in Milk. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, like all the like Mystic River, I was too young to see, right? He was in Mystic River.
Yes, he was.
Like
he won one of his
I remember that
Oscars
being
for that.
Right. Like I was a kid. Like it was an adult film, and I was a child. So it's like we never like had Sean Penn like that until other than Milk, really. Which then I was like in college when that came out. So like, you know.
Yeah, apparently, like in the lyrics of Bizarre, she talks about someone being threatened by her level of fame that couldn't handle the spotlight with her. Among there's other insults in there. I'm quoting from TMZ now about resentment in the lyrics. But you could go look it up for yourself, because I want you to look at the lyrics. But that's one headline that came from it. The other headline is just that people are saying masterpiece. It's great. It's a great record. I anticipate several Grammy nominations for it.
And I do love, much like Renaissance, or like Robin did this in an album called Honey that was really in a really great way, is like an album that's really meant to be listened to like from front to back. And it's all kind of like one long continuous
It's supposed to, as the original Confessions was. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, artist in residence and your partner Hassan Khan has texted me during this conversation
to say what?
Saying that Confessions 2 is what Life of a Showgirl wishes it was.
Slam.
That's some shade. That's some
slam.
Shade. Yeah.
Wow. That's a reverberating slam.
So everyone in your home just hates Taylor Swift, apparently. Like
she always does that. I'm like, don't be annoying now. And she's like, I'm going to be so annoying. And you're like, and again, she's beautiful gowns. And like, she has good music. Like, she knows how to fucking make a song.
We're this deep into this podcast, and we're not done with A+ important stories.
No, there's too much.
Beyonce, heard of her? She dropped a new song this week. I know it's not called Mountain Dew. It's called Morning Dew, and then parentheses donk.
And it's good. It's good.
See, I don't think it is.
Really?
My clip remained attached the entire time. I was this seems like a waste of time to me.
But I think it's just because it's just a bonus track to put on BJ.
That's I think why. It's sort of like the mislabeling, like with the tiramisu martini. It's like, if you're going to release something new, I'm assuming it's on Act 3.
Yeah,
and
but
this was not. This was a leftover. I appreciate it, But in the mix of Taylor's wedding and Madonna's album, it feels a little pick me, but give us a minute. Could you do July 8th or 9th?
They all try to like be in, they all have to like try to have something else out there so that there's like, they can be, you know.
And I know some people listening will be like, well, don't tell women what to do. No, I will tell anyone what to do when it comes to
That's the point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Is to advise celebrities.
Madonna only comes around like once every couple of years. She couldn't just have the weekend to herself. She's got to compete with all this bullshit. Stop.
Dominic, to be fair though, be fair, and we did say, like, especially Hassan, when we were listening to the album in its entirety on the way up here, Hassan and I did discuss, we were like, but why didn't she put it out in time for Pride?
I don't know. I think that she thought that the songs that she put out were enough to sort of like wet her whistle.
But like this could have been, like she could have dropped it like the Pride week, like Friday of Pride weekend, and it would have like been gangbuster. Not that it isn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like that would have changed the world. I
will say that I was in a bar at midnight in Provincetown, a very gay town, when it turned July 3rd. I was there with a Colombian friend of mine who's made a summer 2026 return. Talk about news stories. Madonna. And
that's in the Patreon of the Patreon when we talk about that.
And they did what I was hoping a bar here would do. I was at A House and they played Confessions 2 from tip to tail. And we, the 1,000 faggots that were there, ate it up like it was the last dick on earth. It was truly like we were having the best time listening to it. And the funny thing is, by the time we got there the evening of July 3rd, everyone in the bar had already listened to it for 5 times like front to back the entire day.
Yes, knew every word
of the whole
thing.
We all knew all the words. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. A good time.
That is funny.
The amount of people who DM'd us about this made my day, actually, because they knew that we were both rolling our eyes so much that we had fallen over several times.
Dominic, this feels like a month ago.
It does.
I know what you're talking about now, and I'm like, I'm not mentally prepared to discuss this right now, but go ahead.
No, Jussie Smollett and Karamo Brown are not only dating. So we have to absorb that, because this also happened after last week's pod. Not only are these two absolute menaces dating each other, but Karamo then goes on a podcast and says Jussie Smollett's the one, that he is the one, and he just knew. He's just knows. No one's ever understood me like this before. I love love. I pursue it every chance I get. I'm not a hater of people falling in love. But I mean, we're talking about two people who have done strange things to remain relevant and to have publicity. And this is
a match made in heaven.
This relationship ends with violence, is what I'm going to say. I'm calling
correct.
This ends with violence. This coupling. I do not think it's a good idea.
I didn't even think about that part of it.
And not necessarily them hitting each other. I mean, maybe Karamo roaming the streets drunk and hitting his head on a trash can. I mean something. It's just there will be blood.
No, mudslinging is like the term. Like, listen, you think we were going back and forth with Harry and Meghan and the palace and the this and the we don't have the security. That's a piss stream compared to like what would go on with between the two of them.
Whew.
And speaking of piss streams, what on earth did Karamo do to his face? I'm so sorry to say, but those pictures of them like kissing at the airport or whatever, those very not posed photos of them at the airport making out before they get on a flight together or whatever was happening. Oh my God. Wow. We cannot. He looked good in the People when he was dressed as Oprah doing the Meghan Markle sit down. He looked good there, but to quote you, Maron, like his face, wowzer.
He has smoothed it out.
Men, okay. Now this is my tiramisu.
Hang on. Sheila, please kick the box of Palmolive over to Chris's side of the desk. Box, go ahead.
Men in Provincetown have made me have to say this. Pipe it with the fillers. It looks.
Pipe it.
The lip fillers look like, again, do whatever. If you want to look like a cartoon character, go right ahead. But when I tell you that I've seen some work here and I've been like yowza.
Every year there's something in P-Town / Fire Island that takes, what the trend is in plastic surgery.
Yes. And when I tell you that
4 years ago,
men,
I was seeing people who'd gone to
get their hair redone.
The hair transplant surgery, and they decided that it was no longer worth it, so they shaved their head and they're going to live with the scar. So there were a lot of very attractive shaved head people here with the scar on the back of their head.
Which PS is a huge scar.
It's like a tummy tuck or a C-section scar on the back of your head.
Which again, whatever.
Real.
But it's like,
sure.
You see and you're like, this person got a hair transplant that didn't work. It's like.
Then 2 years ago, everyone's doing that jawline buckle thing where everyone looks like Stan Smith from American Dad on the beach. And like turning their face into this toy we had as kids called Rock'em Sock'em Robots. They look like metal people.
It is Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But like they wish that it looked like that, but it doesn't. That's the other problem, is that it's like.
And this is the year, this particular year now is the year that everyone is over injecting. It's crazy talk.
Like
it's crazy work. It's the devil's work.
And it's hard. Listen, a lip injection is always hard. Like there's very few people that get them that look good. And then to have them, the cheeks, like the big filler cheeks, because they don't want one wrinkle on their face. And I'm sorry, men. P.S. We're talking to two people because there's two men that listen to this podcast other than me. Everyone else is a woman. Like the filler in the cheeks is so bad. It looks so bad. And like, think of like a scary baby doll that was like from the dollar store. Like that's what they look like. And it's so upsetting to see.
Like if I'm looking at your profile on Grindr and you describe yourself as masculine, but you have turned your face into Post Malone's ex-wife, Bunny XO, that isn't it.
No, Jelly Roll's ex-wife.
Oh God, did I say Post Malone? I will never be able to tell them apart. I'm actually racist against white people. I can't tell white people apart.
Face tatted rappers, you're like, or country
Jelly
singers.
Roll's ex-wife, Bunny XO, Jesus, Francesca.
Funny.
Regardless, whoever she's married to, that's not a man's face. Don't do that.
And again, if you listen, do whatever you want to do, but like I will then see it and be like, wow, that looks crazy.
Crazy. All right, now that we've said the word crazy, that's a good segue into someone who's a good crazy and an ally and truly mother, one Patricia Lupone, known as Patty, Broadway icon Patty Lupone.
I can't.
How have we not
discussed this in real life since we've been together for 3 days? How have we not talked about this at all?
Patty Lupone is on a gay cruise. As we speak, she's on a gay cruise that has been refused port at Turkey because Turkey does not like gay people. And Patty releases a very public statement and she's like, I will still sing on this cruise because the gays want it and all the other ports. But she's like, Turkey can go fuck itself.
I think you need to read her Instagram post in full.
Directly from one Patricia Louise Lupone. I am shocked. The Atlantis cruise I am performing on next week has been banned from entering Turkey. A ship, a magnificent ship full of gay men and me denied entry. And by the way, she's dividing all these things up with dashes and periods. Period dot.
Period
dot. Denied entry to Turkey simply because of who is on board. I am furious, but I am sailing as the ship will make other ports of call. I am ready to perform for the wonderful men on this Atlantis cruise who deserve so much better than this. No statement yet from the 3 or 4 women that also probably went on that cruise, but we know where Patty's heart lies.
I am furious, but I am sailing. If that isn't a tattoo somewhere, like, I'm sorry.
I too am often furious, but I will sail.
Yeah.
God bless Patty Lupone.
Yeah,
that's allyship right there. I love that she didn't balk because a lot of other people would have been like, fuck Turkey, I'm not doing it at all. Like, don't make the people pay that you're doing the work for, you know?
This is when she uses her powers for good, much like we were saying for Diane Sawyer, like when she turns her rage onto like people that deserve it, like the government of Turkey for like banning these, you know, homosexuals. Like see, there we go. We're good. You know, this is happy now. We're having fun. She's not telling black women to be quiet.
Don't.
She's
so always a bad move. Don't. Thank you for bringing that up because that was sort of her last conflama. No, but who did she offend with that? Remember she got drunk with that reporter and they...
Yeah, she said that Audra McDonald her like had a history or something like that.
Audra McDonald, yes. Not a real friend.
Like, huh?
Yeah, back away from Audra McDonald.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
When she's not doing this, like she could be doing this. And now here we are. Like, yes, I'm into this. That's what we need.
Did we ever end up fixing Patty Lupone or was it too hot to touch?
I think we were too scared.
Yeah. Well,
just from her
she
coming
no longer
after us.
needs fixing now.
No,
I mean, I don't know if she's
we're
apologized to Audra, but I think we're back.
No, we're back. With this, we're definitely back.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking still of crazy as we move through, this is a different kind of crazy than Patty Lupone. It appears as though 2 years ago, without telling anybody, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith reunited and moved back in together. And they're just so in love and et cetera, et cetera.
Who has a project coming out? Because they're like firing up the old like keyboard to be like, hey, remember us? Like, that's what this is, right? Is she like going to be in a movie? Because she's starting is what she's doing.
It still begs the question, why do we know every peak and valley of their relationship? Why we know so much? It's that red table. That red table sort of cursed them.
And we don't want to know at all.
No, not really.
None of it.
I mean, if you want to be together, that's great. I guess they've settled all the lawsuits and what was it with August Alsina? How did they describe it? Not a conscience uncoupling, but it was like
an entanglement.
Yes, an entanglement and all this other stuff. And the harassment lawsuits with Will Smith went away, and now they're getting ready for something.
As much as she annoys me too, like literal the bane of my existence, she does give us good nuggets. You know what I mean? The entanglement was great.
Oh, however, you know what's coming up is the reboot of A Different World on Netflix is coming up shortly.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. That's what this is.
That's the ticket. That's the daddy.
What I really want her to talk about is when everyone saw Will getting murdered from behind by that other man. Remember that? That assistant said that she then like put a hit on or whatever it was, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know more about. Can she talk about that on TMZ? Can Harvey Levin bring her in for an interview and say, who was murdering your husband from behind? To quote that old assistant.
I would love that. Yeah. Also, not murdering from behind. It makes it sound so negative. Okay, now this story, in any other week that didn't include Mariska Hargitay, Britney Spears, Taylor's wedding, Schmuckers not going to the UK, Madonna's album, a new Beyonce song, Jussie and Karamo dating, Patti LuPone being mad at Turkey, and the Pinkett Smiths being reunited. In any other week, the fact that Ashley Tisdale is involved with a toxic mom comedy that will be on Netflix as a direct response to her starting this toxic mom scandal late last year. This should be the number one story in any other week. This is an example of a celebrity fixing themselves in the best, most cunt, most fabulous, most perfect fucking way ever. Ashley Tisdale, high fucking five, bitch. This is it is she-larious. She-larious.
Ave Maria. It's true. Like, our God is an awesome God. He reigns. Like, I want to praise the Lord because I'm like,
it's insane.
Is it going to be the worst thing we've ever seen in our lives? Yes.
I don't know. I really don't know.
You know, in the end of A Clockwork Orange, when they have like his eyes are like opened up and they have to put drops in them and they're like showing him all this weird stuff. That's me watching this show. Like every frame of it. Cannot wait.
This is insane. I'm quoting from Deadline. When typing toxic moms into Google, the top suggested query is toxic moms Ashley Tisdale. The High School Musical alumna is capitalizing on that viral association with a new comedy series called Toxic Moms. She's expected to star in it.
Incredible.
And is teaming on this project with Ali Wong, which is why I think this should and will be taken seriously.
Yeah,
Ali Wong, of course, a comedian and actress.
One of my favorite comedians ever.
Who started in Beef on Netflix. So this is not something that's being thrown together. This is already A-list. Like, I'm looking at Ashley Tisdale like she's fucking Madonna today. Like, you are taking what you have and you are building a skyscraper on it. What a great idea. Who's not happy? Hillary Duff, Meghan Trainor, Mandy Moore, everyone else involved in the toxic mom scandal from last year that was supposedly in that group, who also Hillary Duff's pussy ass husband must be pretty pissed off about this as well.
Furious. He's already trying to like go get a meeting with someone to do like an Ashley Tisdale hit piece like series.
Fucking great. This is
not a pussy ass husband, as you say.
Well, because he came out, everyone else released like a passive aggressive statement, and the husband was like, basically, this is so good.
I can't wait.
It's so good.
Truly.
I want this thing to start. I mean, I feel like Ali Wong being in it is adding actual
and
pedigree to this.
Like Ali Wong is like vicious in the best way. In her second big Netflix special called Hard Knock Wife is, in my opinion, one
fantastic.
Of the best hours of comedy in existence. Like I've watched it 9 billion times and I still laugh like it's the first time I see it.
My God, it's so good.
It's so good.
This is again, we're in a week of absolutely impeccable choices that people are making. Yeah. It's pretty unbelievable.
For once.
Wow. All right, let's go to Broadway just for a couple of seconds. The Dolly Parton musical, which we have spoken about before, has a date to premiere on Broadway. Tuesday, January 19th, 2027, which is also Miss Dolly Parton's 81st birthday. That will be the day that the Dolly Parton musical opens on Broadway. Can't wait. It's called Dolly, a true original musical. It will have music by Dolly Parton. It'll include some of her iconic hits, as well as new songs that she's written especially for the musical. I'm quoting here from BroadwayWorld.com. The real tea here, if you are a fan of Broadway, it's being directed by Bartlett Sher, who is a preeminent Broadway director. This is
not
absolutely, oh yes, this is absolutely someone. He's one of a handful of names that when you know he's attached to a project, you're like, give it the Tony. Really fantastic. Really, I can't wait. If you want updates on it, go to dollymusical.com and you'll know when tickets are going to be on sale and all that good shit. But this is great. Dolly Parton released an Instagram video this week because Taylor and Travis, prior to their wedding, donated $26 million to several charities. And one of them was one of Dolly's charities. I think Dolly's Angels. I might be wrong about that. Mm-hmm. But she responded by giving us an update that she's okay. She looked really good. And
she has been canceling some concerts too.
Yeah. And a couple of appearances. She's, she is 80 and looks 60. So it's a lot of work. Just looking that much younger than 80 is a full-time job.
She's like, guess what you're never going to fucking catch me doing is being on an oxygen tank on a stage. She's like, you're never, like, that's never happening. So we're good to go.
Late breaking word from Dr. Rabbi Rebecca Bregman in the group chat reveals that Jennifer Beals, she of Flashdance and the L Word fame, is joining World's Hottest Human LL Cool J in NCIS New York. So the cast was sexy and gets sexier. Congratulations, Jennifer Beals.
Jess like Rothschild. I have to go see Jess Rothschild in like 45 minutes and she's going to be all abuzz about this.
She'll probably have been fainted upon the news. You should bring salts with you. Getting back to Broadway, Meg Stalter of Hacks fame, and by the way, has a real club banger this summer called Gay. I highly recommend that you go to. Dominic Pupa presents Summer Cunt by Wolf Klitzer on Spotify. The playlist includes that song. It's really fun. She's Mary in Oh Mary, and on her opening night, who showed up to support? Deborah Vance herself, Emmy Award winner Jean Smart in the audience. I love when people on a TV show are friends in real life.
I like when they support each other. It always feels good. And it feels good that you love the show because then you're like, oh, they actually probably really liked each other. And like,
love it. There's a video going around of Meg Stalter doing her curtain call at the end. And they have a picture-in-picture of Jean Smart over the curtain call. But the video of Jean Smart was obviously not taken during the curtain call, because she's lit differently and it's just like her milling about during intermission. But it almost appears as though
they're trying to make it look like...
It feel like Jean Smart was not like supportive of Meg Stalter. And the fact that Jean was there means she absolutely was. So cut that shit out. Going back over to the UK, Harry Styles did his last UK show. I even forgot that he's been on tour for a minute because we haven't heard too much about it.
Again, the album came and went.
Yeah. He did last week. We didn't really talk about it in the Pre-Fixe, but at one point he choked on stage on water and had to pause for a moment.
Joining relatable. This
Not
for nothing relatable. Relatable.
Who's collapsing on stage this week. It's like he's the Lionel Richie of England. But during the last song, he shouted out all of the members of One Direction, including his late friend Liam Payne. And it was a lovely and emotional moment.
Yeah, I like
we
that.
are to understand.
He should be doing that.
And I guess the next royal wedding is going to be Harry Styles and Zoe Kravitz will be the next one coming up. Supposedly, now that there's a little break, wedding planning will be going on. And we'll see what venue they'll close down. Maybe Giant Stadium. Maybe they'll get married there.
No, she's too
Maybe they'll get
cool
married
to
at
do
the
that.
White House. Who knows?
No, she's going to do like a backyard wedding at like her dad's house.
They should deliberately
and it'd be like
do
the chicest, coolest wedding of all time.
Sure.
But it's just going to be like so like she's that effortless cool that just you can't buy that. You know what I mean? Like
they should do deliberately like an anti-Taylor and Travis wedding and just have it at a Chipotle. Because why not?
I can see her in like a little slutty white dress with a little like what Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker were trying to do. They could do like a real version of that's like
hiking up and down those fucking winding staircases in Italy. Good God.
And she's on like the back of a motorcycle and he pulls up to a Chipotle and then they get off and like get Chipotle bowls and then get married.
They should just get married in a nudist colony.
Yeah.
That I would prefer.
For all of us.
Yeah. Well, the closer we get to young Colin Gosling's book coming out about his mother, the more I think Kate Gosling has probably started cutting herself, unfortunately. She is spiraling like she can't. She is so unhappy about this and keeps saying like, I can't stop it because I'm a public figure and some of it's not true. He's like, my mother and I do not get along. He started giving interviews because I never wanted to be on the television show. Like I stopped wanting to do it. And my mother was pissed that I didn't want to participate in this thing that made her a star. And so she said I had behavioral problems. Now, look, this is, at the end of the day, this is an actual family. So family drama, you never know what's actually going to go on. Like there are truly 20 sides to the story. But what we know about her, what he's saying tracks is all I'm going to say. You know, like I think they weren't affording him the opportunity to do what they did with, what's her name? Amy Osborne on the Osbournes. And just saying like, you exist, but you're not here. They could have done the +8 with just 7 kids there. It's not like he would have taken anything away.
Also, all you have to do is just be like, he went to boarding school. He wants to like do boarding school. This is too many people for him.
Or how about he's shy? He doesn't want to do it. He's in the room reading. Who cares?
Yeah. There's 7 other ones that we can film. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like
the haircut made people crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy, I'll just read the headline and then we can move on with this. I don't even know where the quote came from, but Millie Bobby Brown believes that she...
There's things that I see on the internet that I just immediately send to Dominic with no word. I say nothing. I just send the thing and he knows that it's just like, we need to bring this up to laugh about it and then say nothing and move on.
This is an example of celebrities are not just like us, by the way. Millie Bobby Brown believes she was a closeted gay soldier killed with a sword to the spine in her past life. She was interviewed by, I don't know. She was in a junket. She's in the movie Enola Holmes, and she was interviewed by someone, and she said, I know exactly who I was in a past life. I have a birthmark on my lower back, the very bottom of my spine, which is obviously meant to be the way that you died in your past life. They would put swords up people's spines to have a gay death. So I was completely paralyzed, and I think I might have been a soldier. I was definitely a man, hopefully a closeted gay man.
Oh, brother.
In the words of Krista Rosa, Millie Bobby Brown, goodbye. What in the Shirley MacLaine are you fucking talking about? Goodbye. Jesus Francesque.
Yeah, for real.
Okay,
period
so
dot AO.
Period dot per AO. Yes. I don't even know, by the way, listeners, if you don't DM me and ask me what any of it means, because I don't know. I know what period means. I know what period dot is, but all these other attachments seem unnecessary. It's like a useless sex toy. It's like, where do I put all of these things? So there's a Willy Wonka reality show coming to Netflix. And
why?
They have, well, I'll tell you what, I started with why until I saw the trailer. And I don't know what the contest is. You know, it's supposed to be the actual Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory experience where someone's going to win the Chocolate Factory at the end. When I tell you that they have reconstructed this Chocolate Factory and you see the contestants walking in this room and going, Jesus Francesca Christ, like it's pretty impressive that they've recreated it. What they have done though is Gene Wilder, who played Willy Wonka, via AI narrates the trailer. And I'm assuming his voice will be in the show. And people are like, fuck.
Losing their minds.
Yeah. like the anti-AI contingent, which P.S. is not wilting. They are not going away. I would include us in that. They're absolutely furious. I think maybe we should control that fury until we find out, until we know what they're doing with Oompa Loompas. I think we should save the rage on this show.
Yeah, because we're gonna need to do it again.
Yeah. Now, I didn't see any in the trailer, and I am wondering, like, what I personally, Dominic Pupa, thinks it's best to just overlook that aspect of the tale and not try to cast it or AI it or digitize it or turn them into cats to make it.
What are they going to do? That Oompa Loompas sing all the songs. What do you mean?
My interest is peaked. I got to say, I watched the trailer once. My interest is fully peaked.
Yeah. Oompa Loompa,
and speaking of AI, Jodie Foster, who no one asked, but anytime Jodie Foster speaks, we will pay attention. Just for no reason, slams Brad Pitt's movie F1, which was nominated for Best Picture, if you remember. It took that coveted 10th slot last year. And she was like, I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, no offense, but it was mostly AI. Garbage. Like, why is this what we're doing? I don't want to do it. She just said it was an AI manufactured
She heard you
movie.
being so upset about Brad Pitt and wants to help.
Maybe.
Really what it is.
Here's what she said at the Aspen Festival of Ideas, which is exactly something that Jodie Foster would be speaking at.
I love it. It's literally like the Tampa School of Dramatic Tricks. Like, it's exactly that.
She said, the structure was exactly the structure you would learn in school. The actors say the lines exactly the way it would be written if a computer was writing exactly what would be the right thing for that time. And they were able to dominate the technology to make something big and beautiful and potentially where a lot of information comes from other places.
Period.
That's
dot.
It, period dot. It was a well-received movie. It did get, and it was, this I did not know, it was the highest box office return of Brad Pitt's career.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Jodie Foster just saying, I'm still here, I'm still queer, and I'm not used to AI. So, period dot per
AO.
Speaking of Bradley Louise Pitt, since we're here, they did attend the Tay Travis wedding. And on the occasion of them attending that, the person who styled their hair, and by they, I mean Brad Pitt and Inez de Ramon, his jewelry designer girlfriend of the past 2 years, they are now Instagram official.
No, brother.
How dare you, man?
You're like in your 50s. You're Instagram official.
You?
Like
60s, first of all. Like, I believe Brad Pitt is 60. Hey, Siri, how old is Brad Pitt? Hey, Siri, wake up, girl. She had so much to drink last night. Hey, Siri, how old is Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt is 62 years old.
Motto.
Not you having to tell her to wake up, girl.
She was like, because I haven't referenced her. It's been an hour. They're Instagram official. I don't want you going official with anybody after I know that you put your hands on Angelina Jolie on that plane. You're Chris Brown, and I don't want you to be a celebrity anymore. Fuck you. And your girlfriend, I don't want to say anything bad about her because I'm sure she's lovely, but you're dating someone abusive who we keep worshiping as some sort of Hollywood royalty, and I do not understand it. I truly don't.
No, I don't either. Anyway.
While we're in a bonkers mode here, let's talk about my personal favorite story of the week. It comes under the group chat. I believe Dr. Rabbi Rebecca Bregman sent us the story that Ice Spice and Tobey Maguire were seen making out at a party.
And people were like, they were kissing, but then we find out that actually what happened was that they like shared a vape, right?
And that was it. That's why it's my favorite story. People were outraged about the age difference and all this other nonsense. And then when I just turned out, oops, sorry, they were just sharing a vape. They were not furiously
And also,
making
if they were
out.
like making out at a party, that's like fun. Like, you know what I mean? They're like,
yeah, age difference.
That doesn't mean that they're like getting married. That means that they're like, were like flirting and kissed.
Of all the Hollywood stories that Hollywood gets wrong, that this podcast gets wrong, the correction issued for Ice Spice and Tobey Maguire is like, thank you, because we wouldn't have spoken about them probably until November or December, and for reasons unknown.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the movie Heat, the Michael Mann movie from many years ago. We've been talking about Heat 2 for quite some time. And it seems like, if the rumors are true, that the cast will now include it's a prequel, I believe. Playing the Val Kilmer role will be none other than Oscar winner Leonardo DiCaprio. Playing the role that was played by Al Pacino in the original will be played by none other than Oscar winner Christian Bale. And playing the role originally played by Robert De Niro will be Emmy winner. He played the dad in Adolescence. He's an incredible actor. Stephen Graham will be playing the Robert De Niro role.
I mean,
I'm certainly more excited about this than you are. I love this movie the moment it came out. They'll never be better than the original. The movie Heat is a great, solid action movie, but I'm excited for this.
No,
for
it's
sure.
exciting. But like, I love they're really putting some oomph behind it, cast wise, which is always a good sign.
After this short break, we're going to be recapping the Robin Byrd documentary on HBO Max. We're not done talking about these hot topics, though. If you are an Apple or Patreon subscriber, on the a la carte, we will be talking about Ariana possibly being back with her ex now that she's gotten rid of SpongeBob. We will talk about that bitch Tilly Norwood, the AI actress, getting her first feature film. We'll be talking about the somewhat surprising choice to possibly play Freddy Krueger if they reboot Nightmare.
Yeah, question
on Elm
mark
Street.
on that. Yeah.
We're going to talk about Kathy Griffin possibly being banned from The Tonight Show. We're going to talk about the new John Benet Ramsey series, or about the John Benet story. That's going to be on Netflix. That's starring Melissa McCarthy as John Benet's mother, Patsy.
No.
Ramsey, yes. Yes.
That's big. That's big. God damn it.
And
They
we
do
will
it every
also
time,
talk
don't they?
about Tori Spelling saying that she was more sad about Shannon Doherty's death than her own father's. I mean, that's a slam right there.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
sure is.
And we will go on a deeper dive with the Confessions 2 track list and the guest list at the Taylor Travis wedding. We're also going to go down a list of the world's most livable cities. Nothing in the top 10 is in the United States.
Oh, God.
But first, we'll take a short break, and then we'll be back to recap the Robin
Bang My
Byrd
Box,
documentary.
it's called.
Bang My Box.
After these vital messages. Okay, Dominic, we are going to talk a little bit about it's called Bang My Box, the Robin Byrd story on HBOMax. I did not know who this person was until I watched this because I'm too young and I did not grow up in New York City or like the greater New York area. But you were like,
that.
Yes. Tell me all about you.
When I tell you, before we talk about the documentary, this was an activist, a queer person, an occasional adult film star who had a public access show in New York City called The Robin Byrd Show. And she would have adult entertainers on the show. The show peaked during the middle of the AIDS crisis. So there was constant talk about practicing safe sex, but also practicing sexual expression. I speak for thousands, if not millions, of gay men who say that watching this show when I was in the closet was one of the petals on the flower of us coming out. Like, it was something that I absolutely watched in secret when it was available and then just compared notes as an adult. But when I moved to New York City, officially, the summer after my freshman year in college was when I lived in New York City for the first time, and watching this show on Wednesday nights was an appointment, if only for the fact is that she had male strippers on the show every week. And that's how I was looking at naked men at the time, because I was not out of the closet. And Robin Byrd, I know her as this mythic, iconic figure. She was talking about sex at a time when it was still considered a filthy thing, when being who you were sexually was something you should feel shame about. Not this bitch. She was truly held the hands, not just of gay people, but of all people, and got a lot of people through the AIDS crisis with laughter and activism. And she is truly an icon. Definitely more so in New York and Fire Island specifically, where she has lived for decades and decades. And you would see, if you go to Fire Island, you've seen her. Maybe you didn't recognize her because she's obviously older than when the Robin Byrd Show was on in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But a true icon and a savior, and a level of frankness that comes so naturally to her that it's disarming, but that's how she's lived her life, and protection of the queer community, and truly just great. So I was very excited to watch this documentary. It was a walk down memory lane. And to me, I would recommend it because she's one of dozens of people who have they're part of the history they're part of queer history that you may not know about. And I love when I find out something about riots that took place in San Francisco before Stonewall, or pockets of local gay history in the United States and the world. I love finding out about those people. And if you are as well and you don't know Robin Byrd, I think you'll love this documentary. If you don't know who she is, you will. You should just watch it. It's a very interesting story.
And it's fun. It's always fun whenever you see someone and the first shot of it is literally she's sitting there in her hoarder's apartment with it's piled up to the ceiling with clothes. And then you see that she has a wall of VHSs that are all of some of like what we're to assume is like all of the old episodes of her show with plastic covered over top of them. And
I have to tell you, those aren't even VHS tapes. They're literally, those are 3/4-inch tapes, which is what
that was like before
I was. That's what we recorded shit on, like these thick ass tapes, and like that's where she's got all the originals for her show. Like she's got all these masters.
And I wrote, this VHS wall is beyond. Please tell me these have been digitized. And then like, that's a humongous part of the documentary is like, there's an archivist that she meets with that the person, and like someone that kind of did a similar show as her is like, Robin, you have to have your stuff archived because it's like, then it'll stay like, basically like she's saying like the Trump administration might take this away. You know what I mean? Like in theory, if things go bad, like this will be destroyed. Like, you know what I mean? And like people won't know. And she's like, you need to give it to an institution that will save it. And
it's almost like she's unaware of how iconic she is, like why these things are important to a certain sector. They're so important to the sector of society that she devoted her life to protecting and educating, that it's bizarre that she doesn't want future generations to see it, that she's not like emotionally invested in that the way that her fans are.
And her husband, who is like, she keeps saying has dementia, and you do see throughout the documentary that he does have dementia. He says to her at one point, he says, you're not going to get rid of them though, right? Like you're not going to give them away. And she's like, well, not yet. And he's like visibly shaken by the thought that like those tapes might not be in their apartment.
Right. Because she even says, she's like, we're going to die. And then the city is going to come in and take everything and just trash them. And her husband, despite suffering with dementia, looks at her and he's like, you're insane. No, like you can't do that. He's very sweet though. He's like, first of all, you're never going to die, Robin, which is truly lovely. He goes, but second of all, you have to do this for all the people you did it for. You have to save it for them.
P.S. Them like being like kind of two bumps on a log wherever they go is like the best. That's like an A24 movie back in the day. Do you know what I mean? They're like an old like indie flick that would like Little Miss Sunshine. You know what I mean? Like it was very its that, own way, wasn't it?
Because like totally. Like if you've gone to Fire Island, you've met Shelley. Shelley is Robin's husband, but publicly he wasn't like on the Robin Byrd show or anything like that. Like you would think to yourself that this insanely sexual woman couldn't possibly be in a relationship, but she's been married to this man for decades and he has been by her side all the way. And that was an unexpected part of the documentary for me, is that it's also a bit of a love story.
Yeah, which I loved about. I thought that was beautiful.
So beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Also, he married her through her being called the orgy queen.
That's right. And she also was that.
And Hassan was having a mental breakdown when it was revealed that she is Debbie Does Dallas.
Yep.
He was like, she's Debbie Does Dallas. He was screaming it. Boy, look at him and see he's going to shake his head yes at you.
She doesn't play Debbie in Debbie Does Dallas, but she plays like a supporting role. She's not she's not Debbie, but she's in it.
She's in it. Okay.
And I have to tell you, I don't claim to know everything, but I don't know how that fact has escaped me. I had no idea that she was in Debbie Does Dallas. She has a sex role in the movie. She's not like a pizza delivery person.
No,
but she doesn't play Debbie, but it's pretty shocking to know that she was in it.
Which, P.S., for those of you who don't know, it's like one of the most famous porn movies to like ever exist, right?
Oh, yes. If not like that and Deep Throat, probably.
Yeah. I think this was a podcast. It was going to be a podcast because there's all these interviews that are just audio. And you see the people talking or you see pictures of them from when they're younger. And I think this was going to be a podcast. And then they contacted her to be like, want to do this? And she's like, you should just come film me. That's what I think happened, because there's like, when other people talk on it, like it's one format. And when she talks, it's something completely different. But like, I loved seeing like her go into her storage unit and pull out, like you see throughout the documentary, this sign that says the Robin Byrd Show, and it's a heart and it's a neon sign. And it's in every shot of the show. And so it's like when she's dancing around, when the people are dancing around, when people are like being sexual, it's in the background of every shot of the show. And then for her to go into this random like Manhattan mini storage place and pull out, you eventually see her pull out the neon sign. And we both gasped. And again, neither of us knew who she was before we started watching this, but like, it's so clearly like the pinnacle of her show is this thing. And then to how she goes, look who it is, and pulls it out. And you're like, by the time you get there, because it was just such a good reveal of like, she still has all this stuff.
Bang Your Box is the name of a song sung by Robin Byrd. Baby, let me bang your box. And at the end of every Robin Byrd episode, whoever was the guests on that show, everyone just like took all their clothes off and like slammed into each other, like playing with each other's.
And they
weren't. It was like hilarious and funny and like insane. And that was just the theme. That's why the doc is called Bang Your Box, because it's from that song.
Yeah. You understand that as you watch the thing. And Dominic, this was on at 10 o'clock at night. That's way too early for there to be like flaccid penises everywhere. Yes, she was like, it was on at 10 p.m. We were shocked by the fact, because I'm thinking this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is at this, you know what I mean? Like this is like think about like when we say Skinamax, it's really when it's like when Cinemax, when like Showtime and HBO and all that would be like, it would be so late at night that it was just like only people that were horny were like up and watching this. But for it to be on at 10 p.m. on public access, it was way too X-rated in my opinion.
And what was on Channel J, which was like, I don't know if you could restrict that from your children or not if you had cable, but the even bigger appeal of the Robin Byrd Show at the time was that it was produced as a regular television show with commercial breaks, and all the commercials were 970 numbers. Now, I don't know. Are you even old enough to?
No, we did. We had this. We remember this. We remember like the 3.0 version of it. But yes, when we were watching it, we both said, I remember these commercials, like our version of these commercials.
And that, when I tell you that was an integral part of the sexual awakening of many people my age, because first of all, those, in addition to 970 numbers, they had regular meetup numbers. They still cost money. I'll never forget it. 210-550-1000. It was just called The Number. And it's where guys would call each other. It was sort of like the primitive version of Grindr, where you would call and meet people on the chat lines.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to be on 35th and 10th. Like,
in
what's
person,
up?
sure.
Yeah.
And it sounds dangerous, but that was how people weren't, I feel like people come out when they're kids now much more than they did when I was a kid.
Course.
We were all closeted on this line. Like we were all afraid. But my friends and I, Wolf Klitzer among them, when we think about, we still on a regular basis quote the lines from these commercials. When I tell you that there was 970P, that's P-E-E-E. The extra E is for P. I mean, this was like the level of intelligence. 970 Asia. You don't have to be Asian to call. Yeah, like literally the funny, like these phone numbers were bonkers. And that was the service she sort of provided. Like she was speaking to a hidden section of society, which was important.
You know what it is? Those would be on when I would be watching like Eliminate or like, remember, okay, think of the dating shows that were on like UPN or like public, like Eliminate or like Blind Date. Remember all that genre and like The Fifth Wheel and Studs and all that. Yeah, that would be, those numbers would be like the commercials, because I'd be watching it like 2 o'clock in the morning when I was like 13. The thing that I really like about this documentary is that it shows you that she's like, I'm just being sexy and I'm like I'm just a porn star, so I'm going to just like do a porn star show. And she eventually realizes that as AIDS is starting to spread across New York and the world, that she's like, I need to do sex education on public access TV. And she is you see all this footage of her being like, this is a condom. Like, this is how you use it. And blah, blah. Yeah. And then she would talk about, she's like, I saw 3 men banging each other on the street the other day and they weren't wearing their rubbers. Which, P.S., have you ever called a condom a rubber? I have sure not.
No, but she only referred to it as that. Grab it, lie back and get, it was just lie back, get comfortable. Don't forget to wear your rubbers. Please welcome to the stage.
But
blah,
it was,
blah, blah.
Yeah, but she was like very, safe sex, advocating for safe sex and like making sure that everyone was informed and like at a time when they desperately needed to be.
she also, I mean, I know this is like very random, but I had never heard of what you can get your kids out of the room for this one. I never knew what a dental dam was. And I learned from that program what it was. Like I'd never heard it. And I watched her truly educate me. Not that I would need one, although there are occasions when you could. I'm not going to get too graphic on our podcast, but it mostly for gay women was who it was for. But I'd never known what that was before. I'd never even heard of it until she told me.
Yeah.
And there are people that learned how to use a condom from watching the Robin Byrd show. I can say without fear of retribution that there are people whose lives were saved by watching the Robin Byrd show at the right time and protected themselves at a time when AIDS was truly a killer. And she saved people's lives by doing that. She truly, truly did.
And not for nothing, this is basically this is the precursor to like Talk Sex with Sue, with Dr. Sue.
Yes.
Like 100%, obviously, right?
Yes.
May she rest. And also, too, it's like, it kind of was a podcast. And she's like kind of a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? She's like talking and doing her stuff. And like, I loved hearing all the people being like, I would call in. Like, she would have people call in. They would talk. It was very like, she's doing a kind of just a show. I don't know. It was something really cool about it of being like, that people calling in and her being like, the guy that was the waiter or the bartender at Julius would call in and he would hear his voice and she'd be like, hey, Joe. It wasn't Joe, but she's like, hey, Joe, what's going on? Who's at Julius? There are a lot of people. And they're like, oh, there's 15 of us watching the show. We're so excited. Like that idea of like a call-in guest is like, that was so fun to watch her do that.
As someone who, with his friends, regularly prank called all of the public access shows on Manhattan Neighborhood Network in the early 90s. Like when I tell you that my friend Mark Bateman and I would have Melrose Mondays where we would watch Melrose Place and then we would watch and call into all of the public access shows and just like scream the word clitoris or go, oh, like we were those idiots for sure.
P.S. What's changed?
Absolutely nothing. I'm truly aging backwards mentally. It's insane. When I tell you that people so rarely did that on the Robin Byrd show because they didn't need to. They'd call and be like, Robin, show me a tit. She'd be like, nope, I only do that. I only take the bikini off once a year. That's it. And like whatever they would do. But people called in with actual questions to compliment the dancers. It was a place for a certain kind of repressed person to meet and just be themselves for an hour a week.
And there's a lot we're not talking about, but she's like, I realized that a lot of gay men were watching this. So I went to the club, like I went to 42nd Street when it was still like the sex district and not like the M&M store. Right. And like went and got all the gay strippers and was like, come be on my show. So that the guys would have something to look at and not just like women's titties that I was like bouncing around. It was very good. I love the term bird watcher. Like, but what is Clistener if not the bird watchers? You know what I mean? Like incredible branding, the ABB.
As a tangent, because I don't think this was in the doc, but we're not giving her address. She lives in there are two gay neighborhoods on Fire Island. One is the Pines and one is Cherry Grove. She lives in one of the last houses on the Pines that's closest to the Grove. And I don't know if she lives there full time. I mean, they have a place in the city, but she's in Fire Island most of the year, I think. Yeah. And is always, when a storm's coming in, Fire Island is a barrier island. And so it's always, anytime it rains, Fire Island is in danger. But she's always like the weather person to the world and will be on the beach outside her house, giving everyone the updates on what happens, like a producer. Like, you know, she's a television producer by the way she's talking and narrating everything. And I haven't been to Fire Island in a long time. I was there for like 15 or 20 summers. It was a big part of my life at one point. It was always thrilling to see her on the boardwalk with her dog. I'd never seen Shelly. I never really saw him until this doc, but it's always thrilling to see her when she's in town on Fire Island because she's such a legend.
It was also fun to, like, at one point she's walking to like this house that they like first stayed in or whatever, just to do like the producers of the documentary were like, then you can like talk about the house that you were in together. And she walks there and she has her t-shirt that says the Robin Byrd Show. And the guy goes, I love your shirt. And she goes, that's me. And he was like, what? And he was like, oh my God. Probably. And then he was like so happy, excited to see her. And she was like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, because she's not blonde anymore. She's gray. You know, like she doesn't, you wouldn't look at her automatically and be like, oh my God, it's you. She's not Demi Moore. She has aged the way that nature wanted her to.
Yeah.
No offense to me. You do you.
She talks about how they said you can't use red, black, or white on TV. Why do you think that was? And she said, I did all three. She said, I was white. I wore a black crochet bikini, and then I had a red background.
I think someone probably trying to sound important told her that. Like when I started early in my producing days, I never heard that about red. But whenever we'd have people on talk shows, we would ask them not to wear black
or white.
Just because I think if you're clicking through, you'd be more apt to stay on a channel where there's a bright color. Like that would make you stay. Whereas black and white, you might just like keep passing through. That's what I think the reason is. White, of course, is worse than black, but I don't know where red came from. Of all the, like, how many colors are left?
Yeah, for real.
Must everything be blue and brown?
Yeah, I know.
Yellow?
Another question, was Barry Manilow the OG rat boy? Because he looked like a rat boy whenever they were talking about how like she and Barry Manilow were banging. And it's like him when he's younger and he looks like a rat boy.
I mean, he could be. He's always been pretty angular. Yeah. Back in the day. Sure.
He was looking rat boyish.
Well, he's,
the other thing we're looking over,
now.
The other thing we're overlooking a little bit is that she's the producer of the show, and she would like when other people would come and be on the show, she'd be like, "Okay, you're gonna dance now, and I'm gonna tell you what to do, and you're not gonna say anything. You're just gonna do what I say and not speak back to me. You're just gonna dance like as if you're gonna hear me, but you're not gonna say anything." And she would be filming them, and she's like, "Okay, now turn around. I'm filming your ass. Okay, now turn around. I'm filming your face. Now turn around. I'm filming your dick. Like." I'm filming your boobs. Now I'm doing this. And she was like on the fly producing them. And it was so fun to like watch her just do the show on the fly and like have it be like, it was great.
One of my favorite things just from being a television producer is like she was hosting another adult. She got into being the Robin Byrd of the Robin Byrd Show because she was guest hosting another adult entertainment show that was different from hers. It was called Hot Legs. And Hot Legs got canceled. I can't remember the reason why, but she was like, just give me the slot and I'll do it. And we won't call it Hot Legs. We'll call it someone else. And the people at the television company were like, do you know how hard it is to produce a show? She's like, how hard could it be? And then she was like, holy shit, this is fucking hard. And she's like, it's your life. She's like, you got to direct, you got to produce, you got to book everybody, you got to organize. It's like, she's like, I did not know what being a television producer involved, but once I started doing it, it's like that was the full-time job.
She said, I didn't know what a producer. She goes, back then I didn't know what a producer did, and I wrote this down. I said, and then the quote was, 30 some odd years later, I know a producer does everything.
That's the truth. Speaking of this, speaking of which, I was surprised to see one of the executive producers on the doc is a guy named Greg Skarnicki, who I'm not friends with, but who I know of. I think he's a comedian. He also does a parody drag persona called Livonia Jenkins. He's been doing it for, I think, decades at this point. He's also a DJ. He's very good friends with Robin. He lives on Fire Island. He's also been an associate producer at Saturday Night Live for, I want to say 20 years. But anytime I see gay talent, like, legendizing themselves, I want to call it out. So it was great to see that familiar name pop up as one of the executive producers. I'm imagining he was instrumental in getting this done because he's friends with her and co-hosts many events with Robin on Fire Island when he DJs out there. So just a small shout out.
The final thing of it is that like the FCC or something wants to ban her, which like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, yeah, she's showing like flaccid penises on like public access television.
It's full porn.
So, like,
what she showed was
like, I'm like, I do understand why people are like, this shouldn't be accessible if you have basic cable. I do understand. But all this to say, I don't want her to be censored. And there's a huge thing where she has to fight in court to keep her show on the air. And that's kind of towards the end. And she finds in her storage unit all of this fan mail where these people are writing and they're saying, Robin, like, don't give in. Like they cannot censor you. Like, we must be able to speak our minds. Like, this is the First Amendment, like, blah, blah. And like, it was scary to have her read some of the letters and to feel like, oh, this is so relevant to like right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it actually came out at a really good time because it was like,
because there are a lot of impactful stories that I sometimes maybe get a little too technical or serious for our podcast here, but it eerily, as Christopher said, matches up things that are going on now. Because we're at a moment where shows like The View are no longer booking political guests because they don't want their FCC licenses revoked because of a certain administration who's trying to attack any sort of negative energy delivered to them. And in fact, many ABC affiliates, like they're up for renewal, like their licenses are up for renewal and they're holding their breath. So this sort of thing, First Amendment rights they're not guaranteed. They're simply not. So the documentary was released at the right time. I'm certainly not
100%.
suggesting anyone's going to whip out a dick on The View, though if they did, I'm watching, even if it's during the day.
Final thoughts is that the internet starts and kind of like internet porn starts happening. So like no one needs to really go see her show anymore. And she's like, the internet was really taking off and blah, blah, blah. And then this was happening. And she goes, and the crochet bikini was getting stretched out. And so I thought it was time to like hang it up. And I was peeing. That one of the excuses with the crochet bikini was getting stretched out. I had to write that down.
She wore the same black crocheted bikini on every episode of the show for, decades. How long did they say that? It was at least 15 years the show
at
was
least,
on, right?
At
Longer?
least, yes.
Yeah.
Into the 90s, like into And also, she was once parodied on SNL by Sherry O'Terry. And Sherry O'Terry talks about it and is like, I can't wear like this crochet nipple bikini. Like, are you kidding me? No. And then she figured out a way to like have these big fake boobs with the crochet bikini. And they show her and like, I'm sorry, but Sherry O'Terry's a legend. Like, legend.
One of the funniest, like, she's in Jan Hook's territory for me as far as like, why are these people? Jan Hook's RIP, but like Sherry O'Terry was recently on Andy and Anderson's July 4th Eve thing. I was pissing my pants. Like
when she did her Barbara Walters impression was the best thing of my fucking life.
Wait, she showed up on Andy and Anderson's thing this week and was like pretending that she had just come from Taylor Swift's wedding and that she was kicked out and she had a black eye when she showed. It's like, she's so brilliant.
I love this. It's only 90 minutes. It was very easy to watch. It was very like, and I
highly recommend.
Great. Yes.
And organized, I thought, because as producers, we'll take the technical perspective. I loved the way it was laid out because they start off with, they pull you in by how shocking and incendiary she is. And truly at the exact moment you're thinking to yourself, how did she get it? Who was she before? They just, boom, they bring it in like, and just start going right to childhood, right to her being adopted and her very fractious relationship with her adopted mom. Like it's just, it was just
and
great.
we didn't linger there.
That was it. It was well done.
But we didn't linger there in sadness.
We didn't need
then
to.
We got to the, you know what I mean? Like it was it was
this
well
was not
paced.
the 12-part. It was not the 12-part OJ documentary.
No,
okay, we get it. There was racism. Come on, let's go on. Come on, we got to keep going.
Everyone treated him terribly, and then this happened, and then
and they didn't do that. It was good. It was digestible and not offensive, and they kept it. One thing we did notice is that there are a lot of people they don't show their faces in the documentary because I guess they were trying to keep it in the spirit of the show where everyone else but Robin called into the show.
But that's why I think it was a podcast, going to be a podcast. Because I don't think that they used all that podcast stuff and then just overlaid, like a lot of the people that they talked to were like some of the people that danced on it and they just showed the footage of them back then dancing. But maybe it is because they wanted it to be like a call-in thing.
I think it was stylized. I don't know if that particular aspect worked for me. I would have liked to have seen
me too,
a couple of other people, but it was we got
to power through though, because we didn't have to like introduce all these different people. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was just like, here's a blip from a person. Okay, we're gone.
Yes.
You know?
Annie Sprinkles was something.
Yeah.
That's it. So we both recommend, please watch HBOMax. We already told you what's coming up on the a la carte. For those of you who've been following along on the Provincetown movie list, I am pleased to announce that we have already watched BAPS, Practical Magic, and we are halfway through the Rachel Dolezal documentary, The Rachel Divide. When we finish the list, or when we get as far as we can, we will let you know here on the main broadcast.
We'll do a Patreon. Yeah.
We're going to do a Patreon just reviewing all of them, but I can tell you, it was a rainy day today in Provincetown, so we got through more.
We were powering through.
Than we need to get through. Coming up after the Rachel Dolezal, I know Cats. Cats and then on Golden Pond. This is the most disjointed, fantastic.
We also haven't been listening to Aquafina's rap albums, so we need to be doing that.
Yeah.
We need to listen to Queef, Dominic.
We do need to listen to Queef, and it's not every day that I get to say that I want to listen to Queef.
We love you.
If you're in Provincetown this month, please come see me. You can go to my Instagram or my link tree to find tickets. And next week, if you're going to be in New York City and you want to meet the man who has said that he wants to spend his life with Christopher, you can go see his work
at the Jadeite Gallery
at the Jadeite Gallery starting July 14th. Christopher, where can the listeners of our podcast find you on Al Gore's internet?
And the algorithm.
In the algorithm.
You can find me at the Krista Rosa, and you can find the show at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/fixingfamouspeople. Obviously, you can find Dominic at domandterry.com and also Dominic People on Instagram. I wish all of you well, and as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.